title The Nurse, the Patient, and the Vanishing. In the spring of 2014, in the quiet city of Meadow Glen, Oregon, a nurse named Clara Mitchell vanished without a trace. To those who knew her, Clara was the consummate professional, caring, conscientious, gentle. She had no history of drama, no known enemies, and no debts. She was deeply loved by her family and well respected at the hospital where she worked. But behind her calm demeanor was a secret. In the months before she disappeared, Clara fell in love. Not with a coworker, not with a neighbor, but with a patient. Their story began quietly, but it unraveled into something dangerous, something mysterious, and something that to this day remains unsolved. From childhood, Clara was the kind of person who nurtured others. She grew up in a small town in Oregon, the middle child, always helping her younger siblings with homework, volunteering at animal shelters, working part-time shifts in nursing homes. After nursing school, she moved to Meadow Glen, where she took a job at Meadow Glen General Hospital. She lived alone in a modest apartment near the hospital. On weekends, she visited her mother in a nearby town. She had close friendships with her coworker circle. She was known for staying extra hours, making sure patients had comfort, tracking down family or support for lonely ones. She had a steady, low-key social life, book clubs, weekend hikes, and occasional dinners with friends. Nothing in her past suggested she'd vanish into thin air. In November 2013, a man was brought into Meadow Glen General after a car crash on a rural mountain road near the Cascades. The ambulance crew found him badly injured. Multiple fractures, internal bleeding, and confusion. He was admitted in serious but stable condition. He was identified as Robert Hayes, mid-40s, but the documentation upon arrival was incomplete. No next of kin listed, identification documents garbled, conflicting statements about his home address. He claimed he had been traveling on business. The hospital's social worker tried to reach out to possible family contacts but found little trace. Clara was assigned to his ward, trauma recovery, post-op care. Even in his pain, Robert was polite, well-spoken, and shy. He spoke little of his past, but he had a calm presence. Over the first week, Clara took extra care, checking in, arranging small comforts, staying late to read to him when he was conscious. He asked her about her life. She asked him about his. Their rapport grew. Hospital staff began noticing subtle changes in behavior. Clara smiling more, staying after hours, lingering by his door. One evening, Clara's direct supervisor, Linda Perez, approached her. "Clara, I appreciate your passion," Linda said quietly, "but you have to maintain professional distance. Patients are vulnerable. You can't get drawn in." Clara nodded, a tight smile. But inside, she felt that Robert was different. He felt lonely, lost. Someone she could help, perhaps even love. Over December and January, Clara and Robert's relationship deepened in hidden ways. She arranged for a nicer room view for him when one opened. She brought him a book she'd mentioned, The Great Gatsby, slipped in with a note. For better days, when he was too weak to request meals, she made sure he got what he liked: soft soups, fruits, comforting things. Their conversations turned personal. Childhood dreams, fears, regrets. Robert revealed fragments. His past was troubled. Lost a wife in an accident years ago. He was drifting, alone. By February, Clara started driving Robert home to a rented guest house. After discharge, justifying it as helping him settle. Hospital staff heard rumors. Some whispered she was going off script. She withdrew slightly from her social circles, declined invitations, stopped returning calls. The book club met without her. Her sister, Jenna, noticed, but Clara brushed it off. "Busy at work," she said. In early March, Robert's condition relapsed in minor complications. He was readmitted. Clara rushed in, visibly shaken. She insisted on being his nurse again, citing familiarity and trust. Hospital administrators reluctantly allowed it under supervision. This intensified their connection. At night, when the ward was quiet, Clara would sit with him, reading. Once, she fell asleep mid-reading, leaning on his bed rail. Robert reached over, gently adjusted the blanket around her. She nearly jolted awake. On March 18th, Clara's shift ended, but she stayed late. Colleagues saw her heading toward Robert's room after hours. The security guard later reported seeing her car pull out of the hospital's lot at 11:45 p.m. The next morning, Robert's bedside table had the book The Great Gatsby, the note, and a small pressed flower, orchid, tucked inside. Clara's favorite flower. Clara showed up at work the next day but seemed tired, distracted. She declined lunches, skipped breaks. A coworker, Sarah, asked, "Clara, are you okay?" She replied, voice trembling, "Just tired." That same evening, Clara texted Jenna, "Need space. Don't worry about me." That was the last Jenna ever heard. On March 22nd, Clara was scheduled for her 7 a.m. shift but never arrived. Her coworkers called. No response. Her cell phone rang to voicemail. She was not at home. Her car, a silver sedan, was still in the hospital lot, or so the security camera logs said. Her apartment was locked, lights off. Jenna reported her missing. The hospital provided internal video logs. Clara's final recorded entrance into the hospital was March 21st at 9 p.m. After that, no video of her exiting. The security guard claimed he did not see her leave. The hospital's entrance and exit logs were incomplete. Maintenance on cameras that night, per hospital statement. Inside her apartment, police found her scrubs folded neatly, her wallet and ID badge left behind, her laptop open, browser on a letter to Robert, her phone charging, still plugged in, a framed photo of Clara and Jenna from childhood. The door locked from inside. No sign of forced entry. No suicide note, no ransom demand, no signs of foul struggle. The first assumption: did she flee with Robert? But there was no record of Robert leaving the hospital either. No witness, no exit log. He was still a patient. Police naturally focused on Robert, but his identity was already suspicious. They located his records. The Robert Hayes name seemed clean on the surface, no criminal record, minimal background. But cross-checks revealed no matching social security number, no past address that fully matched his story. The hospital's intake form had partial data. Many fields were blank or inconsistent. Investigators dug into his past. They contacted all the addresses he claimed, but found no one who remembered him. His ex-wife could not be located. There was no death record matching his statements. His employer, he claimed engineering contract work, had no record of him. As detectives pushed deeper, they found small contradictions in his stories. He said he grew up inland. In one conversation, he referred to coastal childhood. He said he had one sister, but social media records never surfaced. He claimed a small inheritance from his late wife, but no records or accounts could be traced. Investigators looked at travel, toll logs, gas station cameras, credit card traces. There was none under Clara's name after March 21st, but they found unusual credit activity in nearby states attributed to a woman matching her description, but under an alias. They traced one toll booth camera in southern Washington state showing a silver sedan matching Clara's car and a passenger, but the license plate was obscured. The timestamp, March 23rd at 3:17 p.m. Another trail. In mid-April, a motel in Idaho recorded a C. Michaels checking in under a pseudonym. She stayed 2 nights. The file photo was grainy, but the shape, hair, build loosely matched Clara. There was no recorded checkout, just marked as no-show. Her phone was off. Attempts to ping it failed. But digital forensics on her laptop and hospital email servers yielded one draft letter to Robert. "I can't come back to my old life. It's safer. I've tried to tell you. If we're ever to be together, we must disappear. Leave everything behind. Don't ask questions." No signature. Hospital records showed shifts that Clara had specially taken over for days when she said she'd be out of town. But shifts didn't match travel records. Maybe Clara and Robert planned this together. They vanished intentionally, erasing identities, starting new lives elsewhere, far from Oregon. Support. The motel check-in, alias usage, toll cam capture, and the letter draft. Counter. Clara was very connected to family. She likely would have said goodbye to Jenna. Also, no confirmed sightings beyond Idaho. Robert might have manipulated or coerced Clara, emotionally or psychologically. The patient-nurse dynamic is heavily one-sided. Perhaps Clara was vulnerable to emotional persuasion. Robert could have had ulterior motives. After all, his identity was murky. He may have been on the run or hiding. Perhaps once they began disappearing, Robert forced Clara's compliance, or worse. Perhaps Robert or someone connected to him eliminated Clara. The romance was a facade to draw her in. The apartment staged, the car moved, etc. But no body, no conclusive evidence of homicide. Could Clara have perished in a remote area? Car crash off-road? Wilderness? But the silver sedan appears on surveillance after her disappearance, so it seems unlikely she died immediately. By 2016, the case was officially reclassified as a cold missing person case. Local interest waned. But Detective Marcus Hayes, no relation, maintained a file. He returned to old leads, re-investigated motel records, and re-contacted past witnesses. A former hotel clerk in Idaho, now relocated, recalled a couple arriving late March under aliases. The male companion had a limp. Robert's leg had been injured in the crash. The female was nervous, whispered in the room late into the night. They left early morning without paying, as thought they'd already paid. Another tip. In 2017, someone in a small Nevada town called the Oregon PD, claiming they saw Clara in a diner. She was wearing dark sunglasses, seemed withdrawn, said she was passing through. The caller could not get a license plate. The tip died. In 2020, a cold case unit re-examined every shred of DNA evidence from Clara's apartment, the car, and the motel room. Nothing came back on Robert or any known suspect.